Look ahead, what can we gain from these collaborations? I guess give us some kind of short-term, long-term outlook. What is it that the ecosystem, the wider nation can gain from this? Eric, let's start with you again.
Yeah, so I think the most important thing that is to be gained from the entire thing for both the startups and obviously for established organizations is a much wider and expansive market. You think about it currently, and markets are coming online at the fastest pace that has never happened. So a lot of the informal sector is becoming formalized at a very quick and rapid pace, right? And then you think about it from a second layer, and you have these organizations, you have these developers building amazing solutions, but then tapping obviously into this large critical mass of people, but then you have these legacy organizations that have no idea how they're going to tap into that. So increasingly, what are you starting to see? The emergence of super apps, and but then there's a lot of layering that can happen for both legacy to get involved in those spaces. So just the growth of this very, very large market is one of the things that I think is going to be interesting. The second thing I feel is development of skill sets for both of them. So what you have is obviously the experience side of things, and then obviously with the startups, it's much more semi-skilled, growing, emergent spaces, right? And way into the future, what I feel is going to be interesting is a lot of the spending that an incumbent organization would spend upskilling their staff, for instance, is going to be embedded into the startup ecosystem. So you're tapping into the skill set that these organizations have been able to develop. And finally, I think it's just the growth of technology. We like to say this thing at Africa's Talking, that we have to transform Africa within our lifetimes, right? And for us to be able to transform Africa within our lifetimes is to appreciate the power that both the mobile phone and the motorbike has in terms of development of economic growth. And for that to be able to happen is if we are able to avail the smallest units of innovation, so that is an SMS and airtime, to allow people to get paid and people to communicate, then embed interesting technology that is for this continent and for masses of this continent, then you'll see a lot of change. And so in the future, that's what I feel is much more exciting, both for existing organizations, for startups, and primarily and most importantly for the African consumer. So you have this choice and you have all these interesting things going around you. And so it would be great if we can build a true digital African economy, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. The transformation I want to see in my lifetime is 24/7 lights in Nigeria before I leave. I badly want to see that. Thank you for that, Eric. Elsa, what's your outlook? What you think we can gain? Well, how do you see things?
So three major things. I think from legacy established organization is clearly the beginning of outsourcing of the innovation. Today, the way a company like MTN works, there is a product roadmap that is rolled out over 12 months. In that new world, there is still that product roadmap, but there is also thousands of the product roadmap that across one single innovation brought by the legacy organization trigger another 1,000 of them that will customize every single product to a micro segment of customer because it answers in a better way the same use case that was very basically, I want to do a payment. It's actually now triggers in 1,000 way to do that same transaction. So I see it as obviously an amazing output for every consumer, being able to tailor to like each specific use of each product in each single part of the continent. I find it absolutely promising. The second thing is apps, use of smartphone and so on. I think as a continent, we are still facing today quite a low penetration of smartphone. And number two, even the people who have smartphone, they hardly do a bit of Facebook and WhatsApp, but that's it. So when are we going to unlock? I see that collaboration as finally going to unlock the use of meaningful application across the customer segments and much beyond what Facebook or WhatsApp are maybe achieving on the Nigerian market today.
Thank you for that, Elsa.
So-
Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and my third point is obviously that goes as well with setting up a layer of SME, successful SME. So I'm both French and Italian. In Italy, this is the country of the SME. This country is full of small SMEs. They have the big corporate, but they were successful from economical perspective because of that ability to create like the 10,000, 100,000 small SMEs that actually make money and create jobs, which is a key way to unlock economical development outside of having 10 big corporate and the rest into the informal sector.
Thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Babajide, what's your outlook as far as what we can gain from these collaborations?
So I think for Africa, I think collaborations in the technology space should give birth to prosperity because what we are battling is a battle of we're fighting our village people who don't want us to prosper. Then we are fighting the government who might not want us to prosper the way we want to. But technology has the ability to democratize and liberalize the potentials of success. And as I'm speaking, I was just thinking that how I wish I was in school, for example, when there was Google. I wish there was Google when I was in school, and I would have overblasted. Let me use that word. I would have. So what I'm saying in essence is that the internet age democratizes knowledge. And everything we're saying here is talking about democratizing access to payment, democratizing access to financial services, democratizing access to practically everything that can make our life better. And when it makes our life better, it should make our pocket heavier.
Thank you for that, Babajide. Ayodeji, where are you on how you see what we can gain, from these collaborations?
Yeah, what I would say is if we go back like 20 years, then there was nobody had phones in Nigeria. I think Nigeria was like 80, 90 million people, and then we had about 700,000 lines. Only 400,000 were working. And then if you wanted to get a mobile phone, you buy this Note 9 Note, right? It then used to cost about 450,000. And that was now if you want to check that in dollars now, probably. Look, I can't even do the math. It's some crazy numbers.
Almost
And
2,000.
at that time, I remember people going to Benin Republic and they tell us stories of even bike men having mobile phones. And then we used to think, really, we must have offended God big time in Nigeria. And it was that bad. And when 2001 came and they were going to auction GSM licenses, most people didn't believe it. I think MTN believed. I don't know why they believed, because at that time it felt foolish to believe. And today is a different ballgame. Now we have like 160 million phones. Like you literally can't find anyone without a phone. Today, if you find someone without a phone today in Nigeria, you probably think he's a psychopath. Like, why don't you have a phone? It's like, why are you walking around without having a head? Like the same thing. Now, today, we're forgetting about that because something happened. And today in Africa, when you check FDI for startup investment, so you usually see Nigeria, Kenya, battling for supremacy in that aspect. You're seeing some global players coming up. You're seeing a lot of things happening. So I believe that the future is so bright, we can't just imagine it. Because I believe that, and which is what drives us, believe that by the time we remove the barrier to innovation for young players, right, new set of people will come into the market that will become global giants that we never imagined. I always tell a story of Linda Ikeji that lives in Banana Island, drives a Bentley, but she started using Google Blogger platform. She didn't even have money to build her own website, but that little seed created wealth, created value. I believe the same thing will happen, because just imagine people being able to now give credit to tens of millions of people in Nigeria. What kind of company would that be? So I believe that when people talk about unicorn, I know it's an overused buzzword, but actual unicorns can come out of Nigeria. Today, MTN is the largest company on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. Now, 20 years ago, if somebody said, oh, the largest company in Nigeria will be a mobile telecommunication company, So it's either they laugh at you or someone is going to slap your head to correct it. So that's what I see ahead. I believe that in 5 years' time, we'll have global players in Nigeria, and that will be successful because of all the things we're doing.
5 years.
Yes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you. Adobasi, I know, right? It's very optimistic. Adobasi, what are your thoughts on what we can get?
So, I mean, I would say if I wanted to give an example, I like giving this example. So if you want to look back at, let's say, some 20 years ago, when you used to have this typewriter. So I remember my mom. There used to be people who had a role that was about typewriting. You know, it's sort of like a company secretary where it was. You remember they used to learn shorthand. There's probably really a course on this. Like people learn short. The reason why I remember so vividly, like my mom was super good in it, and so think of that and think of the emergence of computer, right? You know, at the point where computer was coming, it's like pretty much, I mean, someone had spent how many years in school learning this thing. You know, shorthand is actually a language, which today nobody remembers that. And with the whole typewriter, you push right, you push left. But now when you come to think of it today there's computer, today there's that high school, secondary school boy or girl who knows how to use a computer. And most importantly, there's been an outbreak of computer. There's a Linda Ikeji who's writing on computer to do a lot of stuff. That's a lot of prosperity. There are a lot of people taking on courses today, software engineering, data science, a whole lot of models, a whole lot of prosperity, a whole lot of career path is being charted, right? So I think with a lot of collaboration, when I think of Africa as a continent or even looking at Nigeria, it's going to open up to a lot of opportunities. Yes, there's a lot of innovation happening within the fintech space, but what I like to say is when we begin to think of that unbanked people, you know, most of the technology today is riding on a smartphone. We think of that, my grandmom in the village who only just have a phone to dial me and it's like, oh, Merry Christmas or a Happy New Year. When you begin to think of a technology that will get to that last mile of people, then we are, you know, that's where we're in it. We're about to change the demography and where things are happening. So I think the advantage and everything that's going to come with this is going to be a whole lot of job creation and it's going to be a whole lot of opportunities open. I think it would also grow the economy, you know, make more money. Everybody happy.
All right, it's a good note to end the panel on. Thank you to Mr. Eric Wianana, Commercial and Growth Lead for Africa's Talking. Thank you so much to Elsa Muzzolini, MTN Mobile Financial Services, the General Manager. Thank you to you for joining us. Mr. Babajide, okay, Asegbeloyin. I'm close, yeah? I tried, okay. Team lead, Techspace ecosystem business at FCMB, Mr. Ayodeji, Olowe, Trustee, Open Banking Nigeria, and of course, Ms. Edubasi, SCN Startup, and ISV lead for Microsoft for Africa. Thank you all for your insightful thoughts on the panel. Round of applause for them, please, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, thank you. Up next...